Hey everyone, Greta here. Today I'll be sharing with you how to get into Padmasana, the lotus pose. This is definitely one of the most asked about shapes and I decided to do it. So this one requires quite a bit of hip external mobility. So for some people it might take quite a little while. So if that is you, don't worry. Just give yourself time and patience. I'll be sharing with you the things that I think work towards a lotus pose. And because this is a hip opener, it does require quite a bit of hip mobility. There are certain shapes that I would be more specific about the alignment. So just see how things are for you. Okay, first thing, hip rotation. So whatever that you feel best to move your hips, you can do it laying on the floor, right? You can do it like in a tabletop shape, or even do it standing. But just make sure that however that you're doing, you feel that, you're pulling the thigh close to the belly, out to the side, away from the body, and then pull it right back in. So you want to have like a 360, okay? Imagine you're drawing big circles with the knee, okay? You can do it laying down on the floor. For me, I don't want to have the back of my head on the mat because of the hair. Making sure that the movement is big, thigh really close to the belly, knee out, winging out to the side, out and away, and pull it back in. So after a while, you do actually feel tired in this area. And of course, both sides and both directions. Next shape, the pigeon. Shin bone out. Back leg doesn't really matter. You want to focus more on the front leg. So hate to say this, but it would be good to have the shin bone parallel to the mat. If you can do it more, of course, that's great. But you don't want to have it here, because again, here it doesn't really do much if you're working towards lotus. So once you're here, make sure there's nothing happening in your knee, and you're gonna go flat down to the floor. And for me, I don't usually have my arms out in front, because I always feel that the arm out in front kind of restricts me going really flat down to the floor. So what I usually do is I would just have my arms beside my body, and I'm doing the right leg, right? So the left shoulder and the left belly and the left front hip wants to come just right down to the mat, so I feel flat. So both the hips are leveled, and that's what I always do. But then again, just see how things are, making sure that everything feels good. You have a decent stretch on the outer hip and outer thigh. Definitely nothing in the knee, and just stay here. If you can, you want to add a twist, okay? And for the twist, whatever is happening above your belly button, you want it to open, like up to the sky. Whatever's below the belly button, down to the floor. Another one, I have the needle. So having the ankle to the thigh, and you do actually want to sit up. Use the wall if you need, like with the back against the wall, that always helps. The foot needs to be flat down to the floor. You want to sit up. And again, the closer the better, keeping the spine straight. And if it's okay for you, add a twist. Okay, so if you're adding a twist, you want to feel the sole of the foot pressing into the upper arm, okay, and just kind of hang out here. You don't want to feel, anything super overwhelming. Okay, this could be quite deep. Okay, so just take it easy. Final shape, definitely the butterfly. Of course, there are a lot of things that you can do to open up the hips, but these are just the ones that I think work best for my body. And for the butterfly, you actually want to pull the heels really, really, really close to the body. The calf and the thigh touching as much as possible. Okay, and of course, if it's okay for you to come forward, then do that. Okay, again, this is important. You don't want the calf to be too far away from the thighs. Okay, this is more like a prep for lotus. Okay, so basically you're all set. Just make sure that all the prep poses that you did, they followed the alignment. Again, simply because they all add up to lotus. Now lotus, a lot of people I see, they do it, if their knee are not coming down to the floor, they kind of press the knee down. That doesn't work. The knee is not the problem. The problem is your hips. If your knee is floating in the sky, that means that your hip is not ready for you to do lotus. So if you are somewhere here, just take your time, do more of the hip opening drills, maybe the ones that we just did, do it again, or maybe other hip opening shapes or exercises. So we'll just do half first. So just checking that both sides are okay. So what you want to do is, I'll be doing the right side. So once you pull the calf into the thigh, you kind of roll it out and away. Once you're here, use your hands to continue with that rotation out in front. Can you see? Before it was up and out. Now with the help of the hands is out and towards the camera, so the heel could come to the opposite hip crease. Once it's here, okay, just breathe. It might not feel very comfortable if it's resting too much on the thigh. You can bring it in close. And then just kind of relax and see if your knee flops down. If it doesn't, okay, just hang out for a while, making sure that even if it's not touching the floor, there's absolutely no pressure, no weird sensations there. If you do want to press it down, again, feel the thigh, just like the Baddha Konasana, the butterfly tutorial that I just did a little while earlier on. You want to feel the thigh pressing it down, maybe from the hip crease, maybe to the mid thigh. I wouldn't go all the way to the knee really, and just kind of let it float here for a while. And of course, you can do a forward fold. That would also help. The weight of the upper body would help to bring the knee a little bit further down towards the floor and just hang out here. Okay, some knees would be more out to the side. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. That's a beautiful lotus, and just stay. So that was half lotus. You want to be comfortable with both sides. If one side feels okay, the other side doesn't feel all right, then just spend a few more moments, you know, be more patient with the other side until both sides are okay. Then you can try the full lotus, which is both legs crossed. Okay, so if you're doing both legs crossed, unless you're doing like a particular lineage that one leg must come up first and then the other would follow, then generally you would do both sides. But just one word, the leg that's going up last is the one that's more open. It's the hip that's more open. Okay, so if you're wondering, you know, which leg to go first, do the side that's less open first, the more open side last. Okay, so for me it's about the same. Here we go. So what you want to do is, again, pull the calf into the thigh first, out and away. Use the hands to continue with the movement. So pull the heel close to the body as your knee moves out and front. That's one. Okay, same on the other side. So you might need to lean back a bit and then bring the calf into the thigh. I keep on wanting to say pull. Okay, and then out and in. Okay, so for the top leg, you have to, you might be more restricted. You might not be able to do like that huge hip rotation. So that is why the top leg, the one that's coming up last, is the hip that is more open. So that's why, as you can see, I'm just pulling it in and up. And that's because I'm so used to this movement. I know exactly how my hips are, and so that's why I can just pull it in. But if you're new to it, okay, making sure that you want to lean back a bit. Again, try to create that big movement again, okay, before you settle. And that's lotus. Okay, for some people it's easy to do. I confess, I could do it since I was a kid. So that's why it took me so long to do a tutorial, because I don't know how to teach. I'm not sure how I should teach it, because I'm like, yeah, just do it, right? But yeah, that's me. Anyway, so yeah, I hope it helps, because I did take a little while to kind of dissect the shape and just kind of, you know, move around and just see how things are. So hope that helps you. And just, again, make sure that you take time. And it's perfectly fine if you are just able to do half lotus, because again, left side and right side, they're never the same. So don't feel surprised if you can only do one side. If you can do only one side, that's great. If you can do both sides, that's great. If you cannot do it, that's also great. Okay, there are a lot of other poses that help you to, achieve a similar result. So don't be so bothered by it. All right, so do you like my video? Share it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And I teach online and in person. Drop me a message, either IG or DM me on Facebook, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Take it easy. Bye-bye.